Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with a prisoner named Bone, who is approached by a gang of inmates, who are there to bully him, but it does not turn out to be a good idea, as Bone is a great martial artist, so he knocks them all out in the blink of an eye. He has been in prison for years, but it is time to get out. After he is released from prison, he makes his way to Los Angeles. He then rents an apartment from a woman named Tamara. As they make the deal, the woman makes it abundantly clear to him, she does not want any trouble in her building, and also tells him a set of rules he is going to have to follow if he wants to live there. After that, we are taken to a place where underground fights are being held by a man named James. James has a notorious fighter named Hammerman. This man has never been beaten in his entire career, and has a brutal way of finishing off his opponents. Then comes the night, when this beast is about to fight a fighter, sponsored by a promoter named Pinball. His fighter this time is nothing compared to Hammerman, and when the fight begins, he easily knocks him out. In fact, he would have killed the man if Pinball did not stop him. After the fight is over, Pinball is upset, but he is not able to do anything about it, so he gives the money to James, who himself happens to be famous for being a bully. After a disappointing evening, when Pinball gets back in his car, he finds Bone waiting for him in there, who offers him a deal. Pinball is however not interested, because he does not know the man, and he has no idea what kind of fighter he is. Pinball says that Hammerman is a dangerous fighter, and he does not want to risk his money by putting forward an unfamiliar fighter. Bone is however insistent, and he goes on to offer him something Pinball finds hard to refuse. Bone makes a deal with him to get him into the fight scene for 20% of his earnings, 40% if Pinball puts his own money on the line. They now agree to work together. Bone then makes his way to the fighting arena, and there he sees James and his girlfriend Angela. When James sees that there could be something between Angela and Bone, he tells her to stay away from him, and makes it abundantly clear to Bone that the woman belongs to him. Pinball right away gets to business. He goes on to set up a fight for the new man. His opponent is not a bad fighter either, he himself has a name in underground fighting. Bone enters his first fight that night, his opponent is however nothing compared to him. When the fight begins, he finishes off his opponent with 2 brutal kicks. He has impressed everyone around there, and most importantly, he has impressed Pinball, who wants to continue working with him. Pinball is now going to be a regular promoter for Bone. Bone wants to make a name for himself in the underground fighting arena as soon as possible, and wants to get his hands on the best in the business, and that is Hammerman. When they are in the car, Bone cannot stop thinking about Angela. He asks his promoter about the woman. Pinball however tells him not to approach her, as it is not the best idea. Pinball then explains that she was married to someone, but James wanted her, so he framed her husband for murder and he has been in prison since then. Angela then started living with James. She got pregnant but James did not want the child, so he made her abort. After that, she has been a mess, because she started using drugs, and has not been able to get away from James, despite the fact that she does not like him. Later, we see James having a business meeting. We learn that James is an absolute monster. He does not hesitate to kill anyone who upsets him. During the meeting, he shoots a man just because he said something that did not sit well with him. In the meantime, Bone sees a man named Roberto, who lives in his building. They hang out and often play chess together. Bone also gets along with a boy named Jared, who was adopted by Tamara after his father was sent to prison. As Bone gets settled in the new place, Pinballs comes to him, and they make their way back to the underground fighting arena. At night, Bone goes on to beat multiple fighters, and no one is able to stand in front of him. They also expose a promoter who is being fraudulent. This night, Bone makes a name for himself in the underground fighting scene, defeating every fighter in his path, and earning himself and Pinball thousands in cash. Bone has now become a famous fighter. He trains every day despite being a master at what he does, working even harder now because he still has to beat the best. One night, when he returns to his building, Tamara sees him and notices wounds on his face. As she cleans his wounds, she tells him that she has been worried about her adopted son, who seems to be out of sorts. Bone feels for the poor boy, and the next day, he starts training the boy to be a martial artist. Elsewhere, James kills a woman in an alley. Roberto happens to be there, and he sees him killing the poor woman. Bone has finally gotten the fight he has been desiring for a long time. As the fight begins, everyone is shocked to see that Bone is invincible, as even the more feared fighter in the arena does not stand a chance against him, and he finishes him off without being harmed. James is shocked at this, and gives Pinball the money, and invites him and Bone over for dinner. When they go see him, Bone is offered a deal by James. The international underground fighting scene is run by a league of rich powerful men, known as the Consortium, but mainly by a black market arms dealer, Franklin McVeigh, and James wants Bone to square off against Pretty Boy Price, the reigning champion. Bone does not mind the deal, but he does not like or trust the man, so he just tells him that he will consider the deal. James then tells Angela to seduce Bone into accepting the offer. When Bone is alone with the woman in a room, he reveals to her that he was cellmate and close friends with Danny. He tells her that her husband was murdered by a gang, on James's orders. Angela is heartbroken and grief-stricken after getting the heart-wrenching news. He however consoles her, and tells her that he is going to free her from James, and teach James a lesson. This is when Angela confides in him, by telling him that after Danny went away, she gave birth to a baby, but the baby is not in her custody, she doesn't even know where her kid is. Bone however tells her that he knows where her son is, and that he will soon take her to see him. He tells her that she should stop taking drugs, because if she does not do that, she is going to lose custody of her son. He discusses his plans with her, and tells James again that he is considering his offer, but does not give the man a final answer. He then takes Angela to a drug rehab center, hoping that she will come out of there clean. The next day, James goes to see the high-profile mobster McVeigh, and offers him $5 million to have him get the consortium's approval, and schedule a fight between Bone and Price. That night, Bone discovers that Roberto has been murdered in front of the apartment, mauled to death by James' dogs, because he witnessed one of James' street killings. Bone is now heartbroken, because Roberto was a good man, and he had been a good friend to him. Tamara is also shocked by the man's sudden death, and starts having a breakdown when Bone tries to calm her down. In the meantime, Pinball is at a club, and Hammerman appears. He attacks Pinball and tortures him, demanding he tell him Bone's location, as he wants revenge from the man. When Hammerman is about to beat the shit out of Pinball, Bone appears and attacks Hammerman. He also declines the offer to fight for James. As a result, James orders his thugs to hunt down Bone and Pinball, and also orders his men to go to the rehab center and bring Angela to him. Bone is however one step ahead of them. Since he refused to fight for James, he knew that James was going to follow him, and he was going to kidnap Angela in order to lure Bone into coming to him. When James's men are looking for the woman, they run into Bone, who beats the shit out of all of them. James is now getting sick of what has been going on, so he directly calls Bone to negotiate with him. He sends his live location to the man, and transmits his location through his bodyguard's phone. James has the duo follow him to McVeigh's mansion. When they finally get there, James tells him the same thing. He wants Bone to fight Price and win a big amount of money. He makes it clear that if he refuses, he will get Pinball, Jared, Angela and Tamara killed. This is when Bone reveals who he truly is. He tells James that he is a close friend of Danny, and that he is going to avenge his death. He also tells him that he is going to make Angela free, and reunited with her son. James gets pissed off, he loses it and starts admitting all the crimes he has committed. During the conversation, Bone secretly records James' revelation, that he had Danny set up and murdered through the GPS phone, which he transmits to Pinball's cell phone. Pinball then sends the video to the police. Bone faces Price, but at the point where he is close to defeating him, he taps the ground and forfeits the fight. An infuriated James grabs his katana and attacks Bone, but Bone is thrown a gen by McVeigh's bodyguard, to even the odds. Bone drops the sword, and uses the sheath instead, beating James with it. In the middle of this, Bone redirects a sword slash, causing James to cut off his own hand. He runs off before the police arrive at the mansion to arrest James. The next day, Angela is reunited with Jared. Tamara, who had threatened to kick Bone out due to his association with James, offers him to stay. He declines, saying he will only cause further trouble. Before exiting the apartment, he leaves her an envelope full of cash, and asks her to take Angela in, once she is rehabilitated. He also parts ways with Pinball, saying he has business to take care of. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.